Hello, Wellspring. It is June 22nd. It's a Sabbath Sunday. I pray that you'll find peace and rest in the house of the Lord today, that you'll be encouraged, that you encounter the living God, and that you will leave transformed, renewed, refilled, refreshed, with the joy of the Lord being your strength. Um, Today, we're going to continue our reading in the book of Isaiah. This is our last day in the book of Isaiah, and we're in Isaiah chapter 61. I'm going to be reading from the NIV. Let's go ahead and dig into it. The Spirit of the Sovereign Lord is on me, because the Lord has anointed me to proclaim good news to the poor. He has sent me to bind up the brokenhearted, to proclaim freedom for the captives and release from darkness for the prisoners, to proclaim the year of the Lord's favor and the day of vengeance of our God, to comfort all who mourn and provide for those who grieve in Zion, to bestow on them a crown of beauty instead of ashes, the oil of joy instead of mourning, and a garment of praise instead of a spirit of despair. They will be called oaks of righteousness, a planting of the Lord for the display of his splendor. They will rebuild the ancient ruins and restore the places long devastated. They will renew the ruined cities that have been devastated for generations. Strangers will shepherd your flocks. Foreigners will work your fields and vineyards, and you will be called priests of the Lord. You will be named ministers of our God. You will feed the wealth of nations, and in their riches you will boast. Instead of your shame, you will receive a double portion, and instead of disgrace, you will rejoice in your inheritance. And so you will inherit a double portion in your land, and everlasting joy will be yours. For I, the Lord, love justice. I hate robbery and wrongdoing. In my faithfulness, I will reward my people and make an everlasting covenant with them. Their descendants will be known among the nations, their offspring among the peoples. All who see them will acknowledge that they are the people the Lord has blessed. I delight greatly in the Lord. My soul rejoices in my God, for he has clothed me with garments of salvation and arrayed me in a robe of his righteousness. As a bridegroom adorns his head like a priest, and as a bride adorns herself with jewels. For as the soil makes the sprout come up, and a garden causes seeds to grow, so the sovereign Lord will make righteousness and praise spring up before all nations. And so here we have Isaiah continuing in this message of hope that began in Isaiah chapter 40, right? And we have this promise of the days to come, of what it's going to be like when the Messiah is reigning and ruling, and what it will be like when the Lord returns. And so we have these hopes to look forward to. Now, the Jews that Isaiah is writing to are looking forward to the restoration of Israel. They're looking towards the restoration of Jerusalem. But as Christ followers, we can recognize the prophetic nature of this passage to talk about when Jesus comes back to reign and rule. We can see the promise of our eternal home, our eternal dwelling with God, that there will be a double portion, that we will be thriving, that we will be able to boast in the riches of our God, in the goodness of our God, in his faithfulness, and in his willingness to fulfill his word and his covenant to us, that we will be well cared for, that we will be in the joy and mercy of God, right? And so this is just this prophetic message to us to continue to press on with hope, to look forward with hope to the days of restoration, to the days when Christ has returned and set all things right and all things new. And we get to experience what it truly means to be in God's presence, to tabernacle with him, to dwell with him, to be in his presence at all times, and to recognize his goodness, his holiness, his love, all the attributes of God for an eternity with him, right? And those are good days to look forward to. If you're in the middle of a space where perhaps it's hard to look forward to those moments because of the weight and the suffering that you're currently walking through, or the difficulties that you currently find yourself wrestling with, I encourage you, like I said, today's a Sabbath day. Get into the community of faith. Get into a space where you are worshiping the Lord with other people, where you're hearing the word of the Lord delivered to you, where you have an opportunity to be in a community of faith That is a foreshadow, it's a gift to us to help us, even when things are difficult, to look forward to the promises of God. So, that opportunity for you to get together with God's people, to share in community, to encourage one another, to bless one another, to pray with one another, to worship with one another, to edify God collectively is a beautiful moment. It's a beautiful reminder for us on a weekly basis of the hope that we have to look forward to, where every day will be filled with the joy of the Lord and his strength and his mercy and his tenderness and his presence. We'll get to dwell with him in his tabernacle, where we will get to be with each other and with the Lord for eternity without sin, without the tarnish of sin, without the blemishes in our humanness, and instead to be clothed fully in the righteousness of Christ. Those are good days to look forward to. So even if you're in the struggle, I encourage you, get into church today, get into a community of faith, worship the Lord together, and see if you don't find yourself encouraged and lifted up with the ability to look forward to the next day and the next day with more and more hope. Press into the word, press into the Lord. Let his presence speak to you. Let the Holy Spirit guide you. God bless you, Wellspring. Have a wonderful day.